Okay, so we've got a lot more work to do eventually on scheduling, and we're going to get deeper into schedules later, but that's the beginnings of it. Now, people, I want to show you one last feature, a quick one that would be helpful for you, especially if you are very visual. You see, we have all of these different spaces right now. If you go down into your properties box, notice as you get down here, there is something called what? Color scheme. Right? And if I click on color scheme, it brings up this edit color scheme box. And I can categorize this to what? To rooms. And if I do that, I can categorize it to names. And look what it does. It creates a palette for me. And so when I apply it to the scene, notice it gives me all these colors. Now, these colors are god awful right now. So, what I would have to do is go in and create what? I would have to change these colors. And although it's time consuming, it can be very helpful. But look, there's some other features as well. What did I learn in this? Oh, wait. Look what I lost. I didn't do what? I didn't unbound this particular room. Look at that. So once I do that, the color changes. So happy accident there. But how do I adjust these? Like say I wanted the mechanical east and west. I wanted mechanical spaces, right? Or auxiliary spaces to be the same color. So I could go into what? Color scheme, right? And I could say, where is mechanical east and west? Back here, right? Click once, hold down control, click again. Or wait a minute, click once because I got to do one at a time. And I'm going to try and find a color that's maybe a little more satisfying. Well, if I like that one, what I could do is go to this one and say, that color is what? RGB 96 224 224. That's red, green, blue. So if I go here and say, what? 96 224 224, right? So 96 224 224. Now they're the same color, right? That's one way I could go about doing. Oh, that didn't change. Let me check. What did I do wrong? Let's go in here again. Oh, not the view range, Joe. Sorry. Let's go to the color scheme. Did I not change them? Let's see, mechanical east and mechanical west. It looks like I changed them. Hold on just one second. Okay, so I'm going to try and figure out why it would change, and then it changed and changed back again. That was really strange. You all saw that happening. But one of the other things I want to show you is if you look at this, when it asks where you want it right now, is that in the foreground or background? It's in the background. If I bring that to the foreground and hit apply, you see how it brings it to the foreground, right? And again, I'll go back to background so you can kind of see the difference. So you see the beds are popping up and the walls are popping up. So if I had a poche in the wall, I could make the poche show up. We'll talk about that in our wall lesson when we do that. One of the other things I want you to see is that if I go back to the color scheme and I came in, I could say I want to select one and hit Control A. Can I hit Control A? Right? Can I select several of these at the same time? It's not letting me, but what if I went in here and I said instead of a solid fill, I wanted to do what? I wanted to put another pattern in here. Not that I would want to, but if I did my corridor core, is that, or I'm in the break room, watch this. If I go to concrete for whatever weird reason, right? Would it show up in concrete in the break room? It should. What it should do is show with that fill pattern because there's the preview right there, right? So for whatever reason, it's not showing up, and I'm not sure why oh, there it is. So now it's showing up, and it's showing up as concrete. I would never do that, but I just wanted you to see that you don't always have to have a solid fill when you do that. I'll change that back to solid fill. Probably won't work right now, but I'll change it back to solid fill. All right. We can make those things visible or invisible. It seems like I have to go in once or twice and change it to that, apply it, and see if I can get it to work. And when I scroll in and scroll out, it changes. So that's just something with my graphics card more than likely that's happening there, people. But again, this is a very helpful little tool for you to be able to use. One more of the features I think that we could look at in here is the possibility to make some of this transparent. We could change possibly the transparency. That would be a nice feature. I thought that was one that was in here. I'm not seeing the ability to make the things more transparent, but what you could basically do for yourself is decide on a color scheme. Like, for instance, if you wanted all of your common areas to be one color, you wanted all your resident rooms to be one color, you wanted all your corridors to be one color, you would come up with your own scheme. And you can see it's time consuming, but once you have it in place, you have it in place. Okay, so that's another little feature you can play with. You're not required to do that for this lesson, but it might be helpful for you to know that, because you could see how on one of your studio projects this would be a very helpful feature to use in Revit. And then guess what we could do? We can come in here to this plan and we could go file and we could export, right, into a what? Into possibly a image, right? So if we wanted to export this to an image, we could give it a size, and I'm not going to worry about doing it right now, but we could do it into a JPEG or a TIFF or a PNG, and you could drop those right on your board. Especially, people, especially if what you did when you went in here originally is you selected this wall, right? And you go to the edit type, and under the coarse scale fill pattern, right, and we'll get more into this later, I put a solid fill in there and I change it to what? I change it to like a gray, a light gray or a dark gray, and I hit apply, right? And then I'll do the same thing for my 5-foot or 5-inch walls. I'll come in here and I'll go to the coarse scale fill pattern and I'll say give me a solid fill, and I'll make that color gray. All right. And then when I go to the coarse scale fill, right, if I go to hidden line and I go back to coarse, now my walls have turned gray and the color is kind of popping off the poche. I say, hey, that's a little light. You know what I could also do if I don't want to do that? Because guess what? If I change it to fine, what's going to happen? It's going to change back to white. So in this view, I can hover, I can click, right click and say select all instances in the entire project. And then I can right click again and I can say override graphics in view by what? By element. And I can say let's put a what in the foreground? Let's put a solid fill. Let's make it a dark gray. Right? And I can make those things change based on what I do in my view, but I can do it view specific. So now, again, let me go in. If I click on it, you can see it turn to gray. That's really weird how it's been doing that. But again, if I just wanted to change several things, I can go override graphics in view by category or by element, right? So if I click on element, you see how that solid fill is in there? Now, that's a surface pattern. What if I wanted it to show up as poche? Well, I have to do what? I'm going to get out of here one more time, right click, select all instances, an entire project, and I'm going to right click and say override graphics in view, right? By what? By the elements. And I'm going to say the cut pattern for this is going to be solid, and I'm going to change the color. And now I don't have to use the coarse scale fill pattern. I can just change it view specific, okay? So you can change things globally or you can change things just in one view, all right? Let's go ahead and stop.